Hello, Amador County. I'm Tom Slivick. Let's take a look at today's news headlines on TSPN. The Sutter Creek seeks additional ACTC funding for realignment of Prospect and Bowers Drives. The Amador Fire Protection District moved toward paying for training for its full-time fire personnel. AWA delayed implementation of a 9% rate increase for wastewater improvements in District Number 1. And the Nevada Conservancy made $5 million available to assist Sierra ranchers and farmers with conservation of working landscapes. In the second half of the news, I'll speak with Lynn Morgan, chairwoman of the Upcountry Community Council, about the proposed Buckhorn Town Center, fire insurance, and other topics. So stay with us right here on TSPN.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.
Hello, Amador County. I'm Tom Slivick. Welcome back. Sutter Creek City Council last week awarded a bid to construct its alignment of Prospect Drive with Bowers Drive, and it's awaiting approval of a loan for $250,000 from the Regional Traffic Mitigation Fee Program. City Manager Sean Rebay said Sutter Creek has already requested the additional funding from the Regional Traffic Mitigation Fee Committee, which voted to approve the additional funding. Rebay said the next step is for that approval to be ratified by each of the cities and the county as part of the program, which is administered by the Amador County Transportation Commission. Rebay said prior to Sutter Creek City Council's approval, Monday, June 19th, ACTC Executive Director Charles Field sent an email expressing concern that there wasn't adequate funding for the project. And the issue was cleared up June 20th, he said, assuming that the cities and the county ratify the RTMF committee's action. Sutter Creek City Council last week awarded a $1.6 million bid to George Reed Construction. Jackson City Council on Monday and Plymouth City Council on Thursday were to consider the request for the additional loan for the Prospect Drive, Ridge Road, Bowers Drive intersection, borrowing up to $250,000 from the Regional Traffic Mitigation Fee Program from funds previously obligated to Sutter Creek Extension Project in Jackson and the Western Ione Roadway Improvement System Project. Field in the annual report for the Regional Traffic Mitigation Fee Program fiscal year 2010-2011 said the Ione and Jackson projects were still owed funds borrowed for the Prospect Drive alignment in the previous year. He said repaying the two projects will continue to receive first call for new revenues until the loans are repaid. In the report, Field said that in March, Sutter Creek advised ACTC of the potential that construction bids for the Prospect intersection could exceed engineer cost estimates. The bid opened June 12th, extended estimates by $240,000, and per request, the fee committee approved additional funds from the Jackson and Ione projects on condition that both accounts will be repaid in full before the Regional Traffic Mitigation Fee funds are spent for any other purpose, and the Sutter Street Extension and the Western Ione Roadway Improvement System projects will continue to be priorities for future funding in the program. Jackson and Plymouth councils this week also were to consider a recommendation by Regional Traffic Mitigation Fee Committee to raise fees by $838 for a single-family dwelling to $3,878 and lower high-volume retail by $2,736 to a fee of $3,344 per 1,000 square feet of building space. The committee also recommended adopting a standardized appeal process to provide clear direction to both agency and staff and potential appellants who believe their project's trip generation characteristics are not accurately represented by the fee schedule. The Amador Fire Protection District Board moved toward paying full-time staff for part of their training and discussed what classes in training would qualify for reimbursement. The AFPD board, made up of Amador County supervisors, met Tuesday, June 19th, and directed staff to look at reimbursing full-time employees and for classes and to compile a list of classes that would qualify. Supervisor John Plass said it raises questions of whether every class in a bachelor's degree in fire science is relevant to fire. AFPD Battalion Chief Dave Bellevere said the classes must apply to fire to qualify for reimbursement for volunteers. In current policy, he said non-fire related basic classes requirements for degrees like English class would not apply. He said it would be very difficult to establish a list. Supervisor Vice Chairman Richard Forster said AFPD should get to the point of paying for training, not just 50%, as the volunteers are now reimbursed. Supervisors moved last week toward also getting full-time fire staff to get reimbursed for training and classes that qualify. Supervisor Brian Onetto said, "I think I'd be a little reluctant to pay 100%. Forster said, based on what the chief discussed, all fire science is relevant. Bellevere said all personnel should be able to look at where the fire has been and where it started to help preserve the scene for investigations. He said the firefighters and engineers would not be investigating fires, but it would help them to preserve the fire scene and spot potential issues that could help the investigation. Onetto said it depends on how deep they want to go. Forster said that's why we need to come up with a list. Plaza agreed, saying training should be paid for and classes should be part of the personnel's own upwardly mobility endeavors. He said they are reimbursing volunteers for these classes, and he thought they should extend that to employees, but classes should be spelled out. Onetto said a class should be allowed for reimbursement only as long as it directly pertains to firefighting. Bellevere said classes included auto extraction and driver operator classes, among others directly related to the jobs. The Amador Water Agency Board of Directors last week announced it will delay implementing a Schedule 9% rate increase for Wastewater Improvement District Number 1 customers until after the 2012-2013 budget is completed. The board voted June 14th to hold a rate increase, and Board President Gary Thomas said last week the approval of the budget could have the effect of making a lower rate increase possible for Wastewater District 1, which includes most of the wastewater systems operated by the agency. AWA General Manager Gene Mancebo said all or a portion of the rate increase could be implemented following financial review of the district, and AWA is keeping our ratepayers' concerns in mind. Let's get through the budget process and a thorough review of the district finances first. He said recent cost-cutting and staff layoffs may mean we only need to implement a portion of that 9% increase. And AWA budget workshops continued Monday, and financial review of all 3 AWA wastewater districts is anticipated to occur later in the fiscal year. Mancebo said also in June 14th meeting, AWA directors heard a report from engineering consultant Peterson Brusted Incorporated on alternatives for managing backwash at the Buckhorn Water Treatment Plant. In the current system, backwash water is used to clean the treatment plant filters. Backwash is then piped to a pond at Mace Meadows Golf Course and used for summer irrigation. Mancebo said the Mace Meadow Pond is not large enough to accommodate all of the plant's backwash water and 100-year rainfall events, putting the agency at risk for fines by state regulators. The consultants recommended AWA install a system that would filter solids out of used backwash water and dry the solids for removal to a landfill. The filtered water could then be recycled back through the water treatment plant. Peterson Brusted also made recommendations for adjustments in water treatment and treated water storage to help the agency meet the new state standards. Mancebo said the agency is facing an October 2013 deadline to get disposal of the backwash water in compliance with new state requirements. Recommended improvements were estimated to cost $430,000, Mancebo said, which is considerably less than estimates to enlarge the Mace Meadows Pond. With the new system, the agency will have the choice to continue sending water to Mace Meadows Golf Course for irrigation or not. In the future, applications have been made to the State Department of Public Health for grants or low-interest loans to pay for the necessary improvements. Directors unanimously approved including the project in the Upcountry Water Systems 2012-2013 budget and will proceed only when funding becomes available. And the Sierra Nevada Conservancy announced last week that approximately $5 million in conservation grants are now available to organizations working with ranchers and farmers in the Sierra Nevada region on working landscapes. The grants are funded by Proposition 84 for projects that must provide a public benefit. Sierra Nevada Conservancy Executive Officer Jim Branham said, "Ranching and farming has a rich and important place in the heritage of the Sierra, so preserving that heritage is critical to our future. Cattle graze the Sierra in the spring and summer, and farmers work their fields many months of the year." Branham said, "If ranchers and farmers need assistance with projects or plans that help conserve or restore land and water resources, we invite them to work with eligible organizations to apply. Eligible applicants include public agencies, qualifying nonprofit organizations whose charitable purposes are consistent with the purposes of the SNC, and eligible tribal organizations. The Proposition 84 Preservation of Ranches and Agricultural Lands Grant Program is more narrowly focused on ranches and agricultural lands," Branham said. "Examples of possible projects to be considered for funding must meet certain criteria. They should reduce erosion, restore riparian integrity, restore meadows, or provide for natural stream flow and stream structure." And I'll be back with Lynn Morgan, Chairwoman of the Upcountry Community Council, right after this break. Stay with us here on TSPN.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.
Hi everyone and welcome back. Let's take a look at our weather today. And we're having a nice cool day out there today with a high of 79, a low of 57, winds out of the northwest 7 to 10 miles an hour. On Wednesday, sunny high with an 87, low of 57, winds west 4 to 7 miles an hour, and that's a 10-degree increase. And on Thursday, sunny high of 88, low of 56. Air quality index report, ozone levels are good today at 50 and moderate tomorrow at 74. On Highway 88 from Amador San Joaquin County line to Highway 124, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Tuesday through Friday, June 26th through the 29th, 20-minute delays, one-way traffic control for slope clearing. And at Sutter Creek Road, Amador County Road, maintenance, 6:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., Wednesday through Thursday, June 27th to 28th, 20-minute delays for overlay. And I'm Tom Slivick. Thanks for watching TSPN's News.